everybody, and thank you for watching Kama Speaks. And today we are speaking with Shanda Harris. Thank you so much, Shanda, for being on the show.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, today is October 15th, and this month, October, is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This month, I am interviewing people that have survived domestic violence, and I used to say survive, like, why would somebody say survive? But being through it myself, I am a survivor because there are many, many that are killed every year due to domestic violence. As a matter of fact, statistics show that 1 out of every 3 women that were killed because of a homicide was because of a current or former intimate partner. So that's a really, really big number. We are, unfortunately, people are dying and being killed because of this thing we call love. People don't know how to love anymore. But thank God that we are both survivors, and I want Shanda to tell you all a little bit about herself.
Well, hello, Kama. It's such a wonderful thing to be speaking with you across the country.
Yes.
Um, uh, it's always a privilege to give a voice to what I call a stifled crime. Um, Domestic violence has impacted so many women for several years, actually on a daily basis. So I'm actually excited about this thing that we're doing here in October for domestic violence. It gives a voice to it, but we have to know that we have to take it past, beyond October,
Yeah.
because there are people, we dealt with it every day for, how long? For months, years, weeks, days. So it's just a privilege and an honor being an advocate for domestic violence victims, seeing as how, as you said earlier, that we are both overcomers and survivors of it ourselves. It's just a great opportunity to take the muzzle off, as I would
Yeah.
say.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, let the audience know a little bit about your organization or your company, God Girls Matter.
God Girls Matter is my darling project. It was birthed out of a need or a necessity that I saw in young women. I do work with children, and there were a lot of them coming and expressing feelings of having been abused, be it verbal or sexual, sometimes physical, and also just women friends of mine or as acquaintances that would just need an outlet. So God Girls Matter was birthed from there. From it was actually birthed out of pain. The pain of voices of people that had no one to talk to. They didn't have a safe place to go to, so to speak, or a trustworthy person. So that's how it initiated, and then it turned into not just the sort of counseling information, but it also turned into like resource center where people needed references for shelter, for housing, for finances, for like sometimes even clothing. And if we could refer like religious organizations or local community centers that may assist, because there are several here in the city, urban programs that help urban in urban areas, with the various needs.
Wow. And you said something. You said that this was birthed out of a need, out of pain. And what I'm finding with just about everybody that I've spoken to, that's been the reason why they've been able to push forward because of the need. Just like with myself going through the domestic violence situation that I went through, I realized that I was accomplishing so much within it, even though it didn't feel like it. But out of
Oh,
that came this show, and it came my real estate. I got my real estate license. I went back and got my bachelor's degree. And we think sometimes pain is a bad thing, but look what you have brought forth since
right.
then. What's your feelings on that?
Um, I, I agree 110%. It did feel like, and it does still feel like at times, like, with such a great need and with so many issues and things going on, I feel like there are times like, is it enough? Am I doing enough? Am I reaching enough people? Could I be doing more? Or sometimes it's a little discouraging, like, um, it seems like it's a waste of time, until you get that one phone call that says, you know what, thank you so much. You have no idea how much you helped me, the bit of information, whatever it was, saved my life or help change my life and turn things around for me. So even when we are discouraged, even in our discouragement, we're still encouragement to others. That has been a lesson for me to learn.
Wow. Now, what are some things that you experienced as you were going through your situation, and what was it? What was your breaking point to say, you know what, enough is enough. It's time for me to leave.
Well, I married my ex-husband,
Mhm.
and as a result, there were and I will say this, we have to pay attention to the telltale signs.
Yes.
That that was my downfall. If I could say, that there was one in the midst of everything that happened, I ignored the signs. I thought that if I loved him enough, things would change. So the marriage was actually the relationship was toxic before we even got married,
Wow.
and I chose to marry him anyway. So, as a result, we had children, and while I was in the relationship, there was a lot of abuse. I endured black eyes, I endured stitches, I endured sore ribs, to the point where I had to wear the full face of makeup to hide my bruises, and, sometimes just disguise and mask. And I reference that also, that we wear the mask so well when we don't want others to know what we're going through. So, honestly, what encouraged me to leave was my children. And
Mhm.
even for that, I had gone to church. I still hadn't made up my mind whether or not I wanted to leave my husband at the time.
Mhm.
Because I was afraid, of being alone with my children, being on my own. It was more I stayed amazingly, I stayed out of fear, and I left being fearful of,
Yes.
being fearful of the unknown. I stayed because, what am I going to do without him? There's only one income. There's four of us, as opposed to being supported with his income too. So that fear kept me there. But it
Mhm.
was my children, and I say it all the time, that they were my saving grace. I said, either I'm going to stay here and endure this, or I can pick up my things and, just face the fear front on, head on, and it's either going to be one of a few things. Either I'm going to be incapacitated to the point where I'm not going to be able to care for my kids, or he's going
Mhm.
to kill me, you know?
Mhm.
So I became it. The fear of him turned into the fear of me losing my life, and
Wow.
me keeping my life was more important.
Yes, you know what? You brought out a great point that we don't even think. Well, some people do. For example, with me, I started walking around with a knife, and I knew that at some point I was going to snap, and the last thing I wanted to do was be in jail, and that
Right,
was my breaking point. And you said something that is very true. You already have a fear because you don't want to leave. It's not that you don't want to leave; you want to leave, but it's like, what do I do? Because I'm used to this person. They're part of my regular routine. What am I going to do? It's hard for me to leave, but on the other hand, you have to go because it's a life or death situation. Like seriously, it's a serious life or death situation, and you either can die or you can live for your kids. And sometimes it's not even it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical death. It can just be just within yourself, where you're just not who you are and who you know to be. Did people notice change in you when you were in your marriage and seeing something that was a little different than what they were used to before you got married or before you got in this relationship?
I will say yes and no. Only because if they notice a change, no one said anything to me about it. Like no one actually came to me and said, hey girl, you a little down, or you look like you're going through something. No one physically or verbally came to me and said anything. But it
Mm,
was the day that I decided that I wanted out. I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm tired. He's been hitting on me. I had never verbally said it or stated it to anyone before that day. I said, Mom, I'm tired. I need a way out. He's hitting on me, he has my kids, and I'm just ready to go. My mom said to me, I've been waiting for you to call. So that was my sign that, they saw something, but, they didn't say anything. And she said, I've been waiting for you. She gave me the number to a safe haven, and that started the process of me removing myself and my children from the home.
Well, hats off to your mom because people don't even give resources. So for your mom to be able to do that and just wait for you, I've been talking all month and telling people, stop being so quick just to say, get up and leave. It's not that easy for us to get up and leave. And it takes time, and it's up to us to say enough is enough. But to be able to provide those resources, I think that is just great. And now you're paying it forward. You're doing the same thing. So what are some things that you're doing for your foundation or for your group that or for your business? I'm sorry, that you see in the future. Where do we see God Girls Matter in the next few years?
God Girls Matter in the next few years will definitely be global. It is in the making of being a forward-moving organization in that we desire to establish scholarships for young women that come from battered and broken homes. We desire, and not only that, but we are also in the midst of establishing Guys Matter. So we don't want it to just be, just for gender. We don't want to be gender biased. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
We want to touch the masses. We're actually in the works of trying to network with companies to do like a Toys for Tot, to do coats in the winter, to feed the homeless for the holidays, to have segments on Black marriage, which is celebrated in the month of March, but many people don't really know that. So we
Never
tap
heard of that.
if you this trust me, if you Google it, Black marriage is always celebrated in the month of March, and it's a really big thing. They celebrate a positive definition of love, and I think that's what the ultimate message is. I recently had a conversation, and we kind of had to break down barriers and establish what love really is. And to you and I, love could be two different things. We know what it says in the dictionary, but love is contingent upon each and every individual's experience of what love actually is. So if I know love to be battery and abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, then that's my definition of love. So I can say ultimately within the next few years, it is God Girls Matter, Guys Matter, goal to redefine what love is and to just show it. It's enough to say, to offer lip service to it, to say what we're going to do or what we desire to do. But I'm more prone or more driven to just redefine what love is by just offering a hand. Sometimes all people want to know is that we simply care.
Yes, that's it. That's it. So what if someone was to come to you right now and they had questions or they want to be a part of what you're doing, what can you tell them that you can offer them today? Or do you have events or anything coming up, or is it just a group? How are you functioning today?
Well, right now, this coming Sunday, we will be participating in the breast cancer walk that takes place here in Newark annually. So we do support other causes. That's one. And we also link up with other groups that support how can I say, sponsor young women too, mentoring programs for youth. I'll say that. And also, like this Saturday, we will support Newark Gals, which is here where we are located, and it's also a mentoring program. So that's on Saturday, and then the breast cancer walk on Sunday, and we have an information session coming up, trying to reintroduce ourselves to the community, and let them know that we do offer referral services. We do offer, the other assistance, or just pointing. Sometimes people just need to be pointed in the right direction because they don't know how to get the process started. So that's what we're doing, and building up to the scholarships.
And what gave you a heart for our youth? Because well, there's many out there. I know a lot of times people don't want to deal with our young people. Where did that draw you to? What made you draw towards our young people?
Uh, Again, that I do believe that came from a broken place as well. I was molested as a child by, my mom's boyfriend, And I know firsthand what it feels like to be broken at an early age, and to not have a voice, and to not be able to express this confusion and the conflict of, what's going on. I couldn't tell anybody, or at least I thought I couldn't tell anybody, because he threatened me. And also, I would like to say, in the midst of this, that my mom too is a domestic violence survivor, so he was her abuser as well. So there's like a history and there's a pattern of some things. So it
Mhm.
was just a passion of mine, and a want for me to just be able to assist, children that don't have a voice or feel that they don't have a voice. So not only do I work with children in the group, but I work with them in my profession also as an educator.
Wow. Well, that's, we need people like you. We need people like you. We need people that that's not afraid. About well, it's February, I believe. I did an event at a school, and I was talking about all that I was doing, and those kids were just so elated. And when I talked to them, one of the things that came up, or when the question I asked was, how did they feel about their future and things like that? And one thing they talked about, they said, you know what? They don't know what they're going to do. And I couldn't understand. I'm like, wow, you don't know what you're going to do. And I guess it kind of bothered me more because it was more than one person that said that. Another thing that bothered me is that they said that I told them, oh, I know what it was. The generation today, a lot of them don't respect the teachers. And they said and I said, why? They said because they don't care. Our teachers don't care. They're just here to get a paycheck. So they get treated a certain way, and we treat them this way because they show they don't care. So it's important that we have people out there that care, not just get these jobs working with these children, and all they want is a paycheck. How does your students feel about you, or in your field, how do they feel about you? And have you been able to even help in your field with kids that are maybe dealing with that, maybe with someone else, or maybe personally?
Well, I can say hands down, last year Girls Matter sponsored three young ladies. We held a essay contest and we sponsored them to go to their prom, and there had to be a financial need. So we donated the gowns, we donated the hairdos, and we did their
Wow.
jewelry. And we actually went to them on their prom day and saw them off and took pictures with them. As far as the students that I work with in school, I do try to encourage them to embrace where they are. And again, we're going to go back to that needing to know that we care. One of the biggest or the greatest misconceptions that we assume or that we make as adults is that children don't understand. We don't give them full credit for what they are actually capable of comprehending. So, and I can say for a brief time when my children were little, I would say, I would sit down, like example, when it was transition time to move from our house, because in the time that I left my ex-husband, me and my children moved into a domestic violence shelter. That was a big thing for them. And I didn't want to steal, their understanding or lack thereof as far as I saw it, or assume that they didn't, they wouldn't understand what was going on. So I sat down with my three little munchkins and I said, mommy and daddy, we're not going to be together anymore because we're not getting along. My daughter was a little bit older. She was 8 at the time, and she understood because she could understand more, because of uh, just I would say she's always been a little wise, ahead of her time. But my boys were a little smaller; they were 5 and 3, and but I still did not want to take that away from them as to why they weren't going to see dad as often as they used to, or why dad was no longer in the house with us. So I think that it takes patience, dedication, and on every to every extent, there has to be a certain level of love. If you don't love teaching, if you don't love, it's not even about children, to be honest. You have to love what it is that you do. So if I didn't love being an educator, then I am wasting my time. I will be another person that just has a job just for the paycheck, and it's to a disadvantage to the children. So my thing is, just showing them that I love them. You know, I was really happy. Just today, I switched position in school, so I wasn't working. I'm no longer working with one group of students, but when
Mhm.
I walked back to the classroom where I previously was, they all just ran up to me, "Oh, Miss Harris," you know,
Mhm.
and that just makes you feel good to know that you made a difference,
And
to get
somebody's
those
life.
hugs. We
Yeah.
miss you, and you know, we need to talk to you. They want to talk to you. They want to share. So that to me is just more important. Sometimes it's more important than the money.
Yes. Wow. Well, your event that you did this previous year is coming up in 2015. Is this going to be an annual thing, or was this just a one-time deal?
Well, no, it should have been an annual thing. However, I'm in school full time, so you know, conflict of schedule. I didn't have in school full time and working full time, so I didn't have the time to dedicate to it. I can say that honestly. But
Mhm.
going forward, we will have the event again, and we do partner with a organization here called Catherine's Closet, and that was birthed from a young lady that died in a car accident. So
Mm.
they built this whole thing around her where they get designer gowns donated from various places, and then they sell them at really affordable prices. So I support her cause, you know, or I support the cause of Catherine's Closet in other places, and then in turn, you know, we get to make our princesses beautiful because that's we had our princesses last year.
Wow. Well, before we end, are there anything you want to leave with the audience? And then also just leave your contact information, how they can get in contact and find out more information about you.
Sure. I will say this. Know that you have a voice. Know that you matter. Know that your experience is not the end all. As long as you have, or the end of things, as long as you have another breath in your body, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to make a way out. And if you need help, you have to ask for it. Not everybody's going to know that you need the help. So use the voice that you've been given.
Okay.
As far as contact information, we are God Girls Matter, one word. Girls spelled with a Z, so that's GODGIRLZ, and the word matter, all one word again. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are on Twitter as well. Moving forward, we will have our webpage up and running prayerfully in January 2015.
All right. Well, congratulations to all that you're doing. I do this show because it's important to help
Yes.
promote and to talk to people that have been through some things. There's many men also and women that are going through domestic violence as we speak. Somebody's being molested, somebody's being slapped around, somebody's being disrespected as we speak, but
Hmm.
you can survive. We are examples of what you can get through. God says He always gives us a way of escape, and we need to take it. I feel like I had to go through this because I have to spread the word and let people know that God has given you something. We all have a purpose in life. And whatever our purpose is, it's up to us to fulfill it. God has given it to us. We need to fulfill it so that we can help other people go through. So you can pursue your passion. You can go, sky's the limit. There's so much you can do with just what you have. And as we spoke earlier, Shanda said that it was through the pain where she was able to find her purpose. And that's what happens. It's through the pain. So know what your purpose is and know that God will see you through. We can smile today because we have made it. There's many people that haven't made it. But thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you stay tuned to Kama Speaks. I have more great guests coming up, great shows coming up, and I am most excited. This is my no, I guess yesterday may have been my official announcement, but I'm going to make it again. On February 21st, 2015, I will be putting on my first annual Entrepreneur Empowerment Conference. My goal is to help other entrepreneurs that want to get into business and those that are in business to help with all the tools that they need, financing, how to do an LLC, how to market yourself, networking ideas, things to help your business thrive. So I look forward to that. I look forward to those that want to be a part of it, want to be there. More information to come. Make sure you follow Shanda on all of her social media with what she has and in her area, and stay tuned to what she's doing because she's doing some great things in the community. And to follow me, all you have to do is just Google Kama Speaks. You will find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter under KAMA Speaks, and also LinkedIn and Google Plus. And you can subscribe to my page, which is For Sale by Kama, here on YouTube. All right, thank you so much for watching. Always pursue your passion no matter what you do. Thanks for watching Kama Speaks.